Okay, it's 4 o'clock on Monday, November 20th. So I'll call the City of Davenport Housing Commission meeting together. We'll do roll call. Joyce?
Here.
Gary?
Here.
Myself, Matt, I'm here. So we have a quorum. I don't know if Yolanda will be joining us or not, but we'll see. So you two have to do the work again this month, so.
Here's what it is.
First order of business, we'll look at the minutes for the month of October. I knew I read them once online. There they are. And ask if anybody has any questions or corrections of these. I think it was all pretty cut and dry. And if nobody does have any questions or corrections, I'll ask for a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of October.
Great. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes for the October meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Those pass. So now we'll go on to the financial reports for October. Again, see if anybody has any questions or corrections. Have you noticed anything, Joyce? Okay. Well, I'll ask one of you, if you don't have any other questions or corrections on those, to make a motion to approve those, please.
I make a motion to approve the financials of October.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the financial reports for the month of October. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now we'll look at our occupancy report. Malia, any idea why the number of 2 bedrooms dropped a little bit? Well, by 5?
So it really varies. You have families that are porting out to other places, families that are individual households rather, that are terminating from the program for a variety of reasons. So, it kind of varies.
Okay.
So those figures then kind of go along with the other pages you gave us on the samples of the activity reports and that then?
Well, I'm looking forward to get into that.
I was going to wait, but yes, I did see those online, ahead of time, so I wasn't sure if they were just samples or actual numbers, so. Well, if nobody has any other questions, I'll ask for a motion to approve the utilization report for October.
I make a motion that we approve the occupancy report for October.
Second?
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the occupancy report for the month of October. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now we'll look at our consideration items, and the first being the modification of the Housing Commission reports. You want to address that for us, Malaya?
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Weising. I don't know if you guys remember, actually, a while back, we started a discussion on providing more quantitative information for you regarding special program vouchers, wait list, and to add additional information beyond the utilization report. And so Bruce and I pulled some information from the Housing Choice Voucher Financial Management module offered through HUD online, and they provided samples of reports that you can utilize to report to your commission. And so what we did is kind of go through some of the Excel spreadsheets that are the worksheets that were provided in the workbook and kind of pick and choose and modify information that we thought would be relevant to you as housing commissioners that are providing oversight for the program. So again, these were just some of our thoughts. These are purely samples. Some information is actual information that I provided from the original Housing Commission report, but most of it is not. I just wanted you to see the format, and as if this is information you would find useful. So I can kind of walk you through some of the samples so that, to see if it would make sense.
Well, I was just going to add.
Okay.
I was going to guess there's thousands of different, by different size communities, I suppose, and different services offered.
Yeah, and the term oversight is pretty broad. There is a financial component, but there's also program management. And in our discussions, we had decided that there's a lot more to this program that we could be reporting on for you so that you could see how the program is growing, the challenges within the program, and it can provide more of an ongoing feedback between us. So again, we can use this, we can not use this, we can modify this to tailor it to whatever it is that you feel like needs to be provided for you as commissioners on this commission. But some information that I used comes from what's called a 2-year tool that we report to HUD. So one of the things that I do with HUD is every quarter or every 3 months, we have a one-to-one with our HUD rep, and some of this information is what I provide to them, like our new vouchers that are being issued, right? So one of the things that we monitor is how many vouchers are, you'll hear me say, open or out available on the street. And this would be a number that would reflect how many open vouchers or vouchers that are unleased that have been issued out. There are vouchers that would have been expired or canceled. I can take canceled out because it's pretty much the same thing. Vouchers that are expired, meaning that, the individuals were provided 120 or up to 150 days to find decent and affordable housing, and they were not able to.
Does that happen very often? Anybody? No.
Hit the top button.
Kelly? Yeah.
It occasionally does. It probably has to do with their background, of maybe
Okay.
why, maybe they have an eviction on their, background, so that kind of stops them sometimes. But it does happen. Mhm. I think percentage-wise, maybe 5%, maybe.
Gotcha. I was just looking for a ballpark. I just would think somebody'd be so happy once they work their way, at least to get that voucher, that I'd hate to think they just fell asleep on it and didn't follow up themselves. But I'm sure there's plenty of different reasons, so.
Has there been a time, though, that, I mean, there is such a shortage on places for them to go to, that they just haven't been able to find something? Are they given an extension on it then?
We give them 120 days, then we give them 120 days, and then they can request another 30 days.
Okay, so then they do get a 30-day extension then to,
For a total of
and keep their
150
fingers
altogether.
crossed? Okay.
Okay, and then new leases. So those vouchers that were issued leased up within that month, we would be reporting on how many vouchers found, or how many households found housing within that month. And then we would report the number of vouchers that were terminated, whether it was voluntary, where they chose to go off the program, or they were zero housing assistance payment, or involuntary. So we could report that number too. And then, of course, the number at the end of the month, at the end of October, that would be still searching for housing. And so that would be what I would consider the activity report for the Housing Choice voucher. The next section would be the special purpose vouchers. And if you all remember, Kelly presented on our FYI, which is foster youth to independence. And last month she presented on the HUD VASH program. And this section would focus exclusively on those same areas, but within those special purpose vouchers. Because they are HCD vouchers, but they're special programs, so they are considered separate. They are reported separate to HUD, so I kind of differentiated that as well. And then this.
Kelly, maybe you
sorry.
know this. I don't know why I just thought of this, but do you have to send a report into the Veterans Administration too, or does HUD take care of that? Or I didn't know if it was a separate form for you to fill out.
You mean to like the Veterans Association or, no, I mean, we meet with them quarterly. The case managers, and the supervisors to discuss, our utilization of the vouchers. Discuss what ones we have open, how many we currently have. So we have that discussion every quarterly.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was extra paperwork for you to do. I mean, an extra copy of, a totally different thing for you to have to do, but that's good that you don't, so.
And on my side, for the voucher management system, I do the reporting, or Kelly does. She keeps her own spreadsheet because she deals with the social workers and the housing and all that program management stuff. I do more of the financial management, which is the direct reporting to HUD. How many units, months were leased, how many vouchers are available, and then what we paid for our VASH participants that month. And that's pretty much the extent. They do like to receive our correspondence with our community partners. So Kelly and I kind of type up the notes from the minutes from our meetings so that they have that for their reports to their higher ups. Okay. All right. So after the special purpose vouchers, this section, the waitlist status report would be something that we discussed that we would provide to you when we opened up the waitlist or when we were proposing to open up the waitlist. Again, looking at the planning ahead, seeing how many bedrooms we may need available, using it as a recruitment strategy for landlords, using it as a form of information for you as housing commissioners so that you can understand what we are looking for in the community. And as you see here, and again, this information isn't exactly accurate because we've purged the wait list since then. It was 64%. We were high percentage. We were looking for 1-bedroom units. And that is primarily because our administrative plan say it's 2 heartbeats per room, so.
I remember when we changed that several years back, but
If I may, I might just add, ooh, hot mic. As Malia said, that's, if I heard you right, Malia, that's probably not the chart that we'd provide with you with monthly, because it probably doesn't change that often, but it would be something that when you get ready to open up the list, or when every so often you might summarize it so that you all could see kind of what the current status is, but you probably wouldn't see that monthly, because it's just, doesn't change that much.
I'm glad that you mentioned the thing about, for kind of strategies, so letting the landlords in the community know that we really have a need for 1 bedrooms versus 2, 3 house. Just to put a bug in the rear, but.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yep. All right, and then the next section on the next page is, again, this would go, this would be the same utilization report that we report now. The formatting would just be different from what we report now, just for consistency purposes. Formatting, the uniformity of the formatting, I think, would work. So this essentially is the same information that would be on the report that you just approved, but would be in this format for the purposes of moving forward. And then, again, this last section, this is something that we report on already with the utilization report. It's how much funds that were provided to us versus what we spent. Again, just for the consistency in the formatting, just changing that format just a little bit, but the information is still the same. So that is what we are proposing to probably implement, clean it up a little bit, get some suggestions from you as to if this is the information that you feel like would be useful for reporting for oversight, if there's any more information, if you like the formatting, you don't like the formatting, please just let me know. Again, this is just a consideration item. We can alter it as we need to get the format moving forward that works best for this forum.
You had mentioned when you were about the possibilities of your different programs and letting us know about those. What generally would you possibly want to report on, or what things would we look at as far as I mean, Housing Choice is our only thing now, and except for FASH.
Well, and FYI, so one thing that we could talk about, and again, we could use these as talking points. So as we're looking at, because they are just, they're special purpose vouchers, but they're administered like the Housing Choice voucher, right? We could be talking about the difference in leasing potential, right? Why are there less vouchers out there on the street for FYI than there are for Housing Choice vouchers? And maybe having that dialogue back and forth to understand what maybe some of the challenges are with getting FYI vouchers, as Kelly could probably mention to you, getting those vouchers leased up versus the regular HCV vouchers, or because we have a high success rate with FYI vouchers, why is that success rate higher than maybe the HCV vouchers? As you're seeing these things, that allows us to provide you with more feedback on the program management side with how we are monitoring the usage and utilization of those vouchers, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I might add, I don't know, Chair Wissing, if this is where you're headed to, but like what other data is out there? What else? We don't know what we don't know, right? What other things could we report on? That's kind of what Malia and I took a look at. I mean, sure, there are other data points that, Malia just mentioned, success rate, right? I mean, that's a statistic that we do report on every so often to HUD that's built on how fast units lease up that are on the street. That's a measure that you could use. I don't know. Even that has some complexity to it. Is it Commissioner Miller's question, is it that they couldn't find what they were looking for? Right, there are a lot of variables. Maybe they were looking for a certain school district and they couldn't find that, but they could find a unit that they could have moved to, but they decided ultimately, no, never mind, you know. That could be someone who decides to let a voucher expire. Does that mean that, you know, there's a shortage of housing? Sort of, but it's not just maybe an outright shortage. It could be a shortage in a certain school district for that particular household, you know. So I'm right with you. I think there's so many variables that over time you could look at. I think this dialogue just starts you down the path of seeing some of the statistics out there. And I would say after a period of time of using this, you might come up with some other variables that you decide, maybe this would be interesting. Maybe let's take a look at that. And at least unless Malia has a problem with it, you can probably change these as you go along, you know, and see what things you want to learn more about and look at. So anyway, just my thoughts.
To Bruce's point, that is success rate is something that I report on, and I report on it for special program, each category, special program vouchers and HCB. So that would be HUD VASH, FY, and regular vouchers. And that is something that can be compared from month to month in the reporting as well.
Does HUD ever get back to you and say, you need to improve this area, or give you a pat on the back saying you're doing better than average? And I don't know how they are to deal with from a staff level.
Malia's had some experience with it already, and maybe Kelly, you have some thoughts too. From our end, it depends. I mean, I think they've been impressed lately with our increasing our voucher usage, and we've seen the success rate, which is again, length of time or the percentage getting a voucher to actually getting leased up. So they've given some good job, thumbs up type feedback here, definitely in recent months. But it does just depend. It's like, I mean, like anything, we know they really focus a lot in with Malia on the financing end. So they want to know that you can't spend more, like we've talked about before, you can't spend more than the budget that you have allocated, but you also, if you don't spend what you do have, that's a red flag for them, you know, too. So almost every month it's, you're pivoting your numbers to see, are we trending right direction, trending the right direction? Oh, there's a market adjustment, and we got to trend back the other way. So I don't think HUD is really set up to give us, you know, that, you know, hey, success, you know, for this. They're just a little bit more of, you know, what do we need to work on this month, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think the team's been doing an excellent job here. We're getting more and more sophisticated and serving, I think, our community better and figuring out how to make this program really work for the community. So it's, and as some of you know, we have a monitoring visit coming. And so we're looking for more feedback. It's been a while since they've been here. So they may have some further guidance for us, you know, in the coming weeks. So we'll let you know.
I guess I'll ask about that now. I was going to when we were done with this, but just to see if you've heard any more about when they might be here.
Bruce and I had a meeting with our HUD rep this morning. She is going to provide me with an agenda by Monday. She expects that she, as the chair, you may have to meet in person, but if you're available by phone, she's going to check on that. They will be available, she's thinking Friday at 8:30 when they're getting ready to do the closeout with staff. Probably before they meet with staff, they'd like to meet with the commission, or specifically the chairman, but I did mention that Commissioner Miller wanted to participate as well. He said that they'll see if you need to be available by phone, or I'm sorry, they'll see if you need to be in person, but just also check to see if you would be available by phone if that was an option.
This Friday or?
I'm sorry, next Friday. So if it's your preference to be in person, just shoot me an email and let me know, and then I will.
I was hoping that she Joyce asked before I did.
Okay.
You said Friday, and I'm not planning to go out, but I just noticed I missed a call from one of my sisters, so maybe I'll get a better offer to be out of town for Thanksgiving, so. And stretch out the weekend, so, okay,
Sorry, more information to come.
okay.
So you said that if we wanted in person, for us to send you a.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, because I just want to make sure that I know, because sometimes I'll leave here and I'll be distracted by something else. If you just shoot me an email, then I'll know who is planning to come and if you're wanting to be there in person or prefer to be contacted by phone. And again, if there are things that you come to mind that you think should be, or would be of value, or things that you like, things you didn't like, then please let me know. Mark it, go home, mark it up, shoot me an email, and we will eventually get there. And like Bruce said, we can modify it and tailor it as things come up, we have these dialogues more frequently. You may start to realize that there were things that you would like to see be reported on that are not, and we can adapt.
Okay. Well, I guess that's just a consideration item, so we'll keep that in mind. Well, do we ever have to vote it? This is just to give you some direction. Is that correct? I mean, it's not like a
Yeah.
resolution or anything, so.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought. but After I flipped back here and saw there next is a resolution, but that's a more formal thing, so. Okay, well, next I'll just say we have a resolution 2023-04, resolution rejecting public housing operating and capital fund grants 2024. Would you like, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but would Malia or Bruce just want to,
Sure, the quick high level, you did something similar to this in September, I believe it was.
Right.
HUD, and we passed all that on to HUD. They wanted to just be super clear, so they asked us to add this specific language in. I think it's because there's an upcoming grant opportunity, and granted, we don't have that housing anymore, so it's fairly clear, but they wanted, I think, for posterity's sake, to make sure we had in writing that we had rejected that upcoming opportunity for those funds for public housing. And so, I said, sure, I mean, we meet monthly, we can put that in front as well. So that would be one, I think, last piece, hopefully, of information that we'd keep on file so that they know, actually at their monitoring visit, they may want to see how we closed out public housing anyway. So we'll be able to show them that if it makes sense. I mean, I don't know, there's huge time pressure for you all, but it really is just, if we would have known that, if we could have put that in the language back in September, but they added that language after we sent it to them, so.
when you mentioned grant opportunities, I'm assuming you mean in public housing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, this is all related, and it's
Right.
specifically related to scattered site public housing. So that this would be an upcoming grant round that we wouldn't have applied for anyway, and they just wanted to make sure we formally rejected any funds from that round so that they could close us out. So.
Are there ever, and I've got no idea what kind of grants HUD has. I imagine there's lots of them, different types, but do you ever look at different things, or are you just trying to downsize this to this? I mean, the city, is that I know the council made that decision a year or so ago, or maybe it's been 2 years, to get out of the public housing business. But does the city look at all at any other type of
Yeah,
housing type of thing? I don't even know what's out there.
Yeah, I'll take a stab, and Malia and Kelly may know more on it too, that there are a lot, you're right, there are a lot of programs. I think we try to scan for that. We do keep in touch with our HUD rep who makes us aware of different, they call them NOFOs, right, or no-fuzz, notice of funding availability or funding opportunities. There's a couple actually that we have been eyeing for a couple of years. Some of them are annual or every 2-year kind of cycles, and we already had our eye on one or two that we thought there was one that we were going to pursue here this fall, but I think the strategy for us, it may not be the best fit for what our housing needs are. But anyway, yeah, the short answer is yes, we definitely look at that. And I would also say, you know, as you hear folks, we don't probably catch everything. So, I mean, we try to as your staff, but we learn about new programs. HUD rolls out new programs from time to time. There's a really great looking program we saw for one of our nonprofits that I was talking with last week, where we wouldn't apply, but one of our local nonprofits might be an eligible candidate. So I forwarded some information on
Is
to them.
that one of the ones that bought some of the scattered site?
This wasn't, it was a
Totally
different
different
nonprofit,
thing.
but yeah, it's that kind of stuff where, you know, we're all part of the same community, you know, if there's
Oh,
something that maybe.
correct. No, that's fine. That's great.
Yeah. So we are trying to do that. I won't say that we're perfect. I mean, there's so much out there that I'm sure we're missing some things too. So if you see anything or you know, have an idea, forward it on to Malia or the team and we'll take a look.
Yeah, because I read a couple out-of-town papers. I've come across different things where there's different cities get money, HUD money for rehabbing old school buildings to turn into housing and that type of thing
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of,
that I wish the school district would have looked into, but that's a different topic. But
right.
I mean, just, you know, I'll come across I probably wouldn't have paid attention to it, except I said, oh, that's housing related. I'll read through it, so.
Just to kind of piggyback off what Bruce was saying, there are a lot of opportunities that are brought forth to us. My goal as a manager is to make sure our program is strong in the HCV, because we just recently did sell public housing, which is a huge feat, courtesy of these two right here, because I came in on the tail end of it, so I don't want to take any credit for that. But really the focus right now is to really grow our program through HCV, and then as these other opportunities come along for other HUD programs that pair well with HCV, we'll consider those. So we're right on target, and it's discussions that we have ongoing.
Gotcha.
If you don't mind, if I'd just like to add
You're
that,
the one with boots on the ground, Kelly, so.
that the families that were all in public housing, they all got HCV vouchers. Okay, so they were my clients while they were in public housing, and they're still currently my clients. So majority of them actually were able to stay in those units because they are rehabbing them slowly. Like, so what they're doing, for instance, like one of the duplexes, when that certain unit comes open, then they offer the EHDG, then they offer them another place to live until that unit gets rehabbed, and then they're offering to move them back into that unit. So majority of, I believe there was 37 families, about 30 of them all stayed in their units that they were at. And then the other 7, you know, they had that right to move to a different unit, but all the buyers worked really great with the clients.
Good. I guess I'll just get a sense from Joyce and Gary here if you wanted to go ahead with this tonight, or if you want to.
I think we should. I mean, if we don't have the public housing, there's no sense in even,
That's,
I agree.
that was my thoughts too, but I wanted to get your sense before I brought this up, so that's fine. Okay, well, I'll make or ask for a motion. I guess I can't make that. One of you move for approval and then the other second.
Can I make a motion that we approve the resolution rejecting the Public Housing Operating Capital Fund grants?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go ahead and approve Resolution 2023-04, resolution rejecting public housing operating and capital fund grants for 2024. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes, so. Does anyone have any other thing to talk about? I guess the one question I asked, I already did about when that meeting may possibly happen, so. And it looks like third Monday in December is the 18th. So if nothing else, I'll ask for a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second?
Great. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes. Thank you, everyone. Have a happy Thanksgiving.